You know what? That's true. I feel like a lot of guys feel that way, and it's all
Gonna
right.
lie to you.
It's all right.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's some real shit.
I get it, cause it could be a lot.
Man, it could be a lot, man. It can, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I be trying my damnedest to understand.
Right.
For real. I remember, man,
What was happening?
me and my girlfriend, we was sitting down and we was talking about just nothing.
Right.
Just,
And she started crying.
yeah, you know what I mean? I was just like, why? Like, why are you crying? You know what I mean?
my
And
God.
tears, man. And she was wiping her face, and I'm like,
Like you missed it. You wasn't sure.
yeah, I definitely missed. I definitely. And
Was
maybe,
she able to explain to you what it was?
yeah, she did. Like low key, we were just reflecting on some things that
Right.
happened in the past. But you know, sometimes you remark on something to make a point in the
Right.
present. You know
Of
what I mean?
course.
So sometimes you got to go in the past just
Yeah.
to make sure that there's clarity here in the present.
Absolutely.
And that's what I was doing. You know what I mean? And granted, the time was rough, but
Yeah.
I'm speaking. I'm referencing that place from a healed place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like that time and da 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 da.
Of
And then it was
course.
like works, water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was triggering for her.
It was triggered and she and I'm like, listen, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's like it's okay to remark on something just for the sake of the, you know,
To remark on it.
just to remark on it, and then we come back. You know what I mean? But it's like we're not in that place. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Aw.
interesting, but women are different though.
For
Like
sure. For
on
sure.
a biological level. Like I think I heard a nigga say one time, like women see more colors in the spectrum than men do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
A little more complex.
you know what I mean? They hear more frequencies in the in whatever than men do. You know what I mean? So and literally women's the communication part right here in the brain is
Yes.
actually larger than a man's.
Is
Lit-
that what's that? The prefrontal cortex?
Something like that. Like it's literally larger. It's the communication part that's responsible for that. It's
Yeah.
bigger.
Got you.
So it's like, I mean, that alone, if nothing
Right.
else, it's like, then that means that the way they're perceiving everything is,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if it was 2% bigger. You know what I mean? They're perceiving everything 2% differently than us.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Damn. It be like that. I guess it do be like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I can't even. I'm definitely an emotional person, so I can't even say like, damn, I move differently. I think I am.
I move differently.
I feel like I just, because what it is with the work that I do, I have to like kind of hold my emotions in to hold space for someone else's. So I feel like I've had
That's a
practice.
fact.
I've had practice being able to, even if I feel it, like, oh damn, I think I want to cry right now. It's like not right now.
Yeah.
So when I get in a car or something, like I'm like crying in a car is really me. Like I'll be like, today was a crazy ass day. All of my clients was acting up, acting a fool, having crisis breakdowns,
And you was holding it
crying,
down.
screaming, and I'll be like, "Whoo!" Like that was me last week. Like last week, was that Friday? I wanted to cry all day at work, all day. Like we had a group counseling session, and the clients were talking about trauma, their own trauma, and I was like, damn, like I wanted to, like when I tell you, just from listening to them talk about their trauma,
Yeah.
because there was one of the other counselors was leading this group, and I was kind of just sitting in as like a fly on the wall, right? Because he's a new counselor, so I was just sitting in, and as they were talking about it, I was like, I feel like I want to cry, but then it's like you can't, like, you know, even just in our training and stuff, it's like you can't show them that because they want to see you as strong. Like, okay, this is the person, this is my go-to person, this is my counselor. If I'm going through something, I know I could, you know, give it to them. But it's like I'm human, right? So say if I was to have a moment where I like felt that with them in like a session or counseling or something, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it would be, for some, it might be like red flaggish. Like, damn, why is my counselor
Yeah,
crying?
it's
Like,
like, nigga, I'm coming to you for
right, what you crying for?
Right.
Like, are you good? Are you
Really,
stable?
like, I'm trying to be strong with you by crying with you.
Right. Because that's the thing. I don't think it's a terrible thing. If it happens, it's just human. Like you're literally receiving
Is
other
that
people.
unprofessional?
It might be deemed as unprofessional. It could be. That's why there's been multiple times though where I felt like crying just because I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm like, I feel like I'm like taking in all of this information, all of this trauma. Like not taking it in, but I'm hearing it, I'm consuming it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got to decompressing, like, you know.
I mean, you are taking it. That's why the emotion is happening right
Yeah.
now, because it's like, damn, I was not in this place until I started listening to you.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Damn.
it was just last week for me was like crazy. Like when I left work, I was like, "Whew, it's over."
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't cry for real. But I think that's why too. Sometimes random moments, I do be like, "Why am I crying right now?"
Yeah.
Like this is weird. We're talking about Disney or some shit. Like we're talking about something.
Disney.
We're talking about something that is like a little like light hearted,
Yeah,
and I just
yeah.
sometimes just get emotional like
Yeah.
quickly, and I'm like, I think it's just I just have so much that like I don't release all the time because I
That's what
have
it
to.
sound like.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
That's what it sound like. Like it sound like it's already at the top of the brim of the cup. So
yes,
a little shake, you know what I mean? It'd be
yes,
like, oh, we overflowing a little bit.
right. Cup runneth over, like
Cup running over.
in real life, and so I feel like I need to. That's why I be traveling and stuff. I just came back. I came back. I was in London 2 weeks ago. Like when
For real?
yes, we're gonna talk about this on. We're not recording yet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're recording.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, cool. This is good. This is good so far. But all right. So let me. All right, we're gonna start. Hey, what's up, y'all? You're listening to your Mental Matters podcast. I'm your girl Mo. And we're back with another episode. And I'm here with super producer Wolf.
Super producer.
Yes. Or what do you like? I feel like I've called you engineer. I've called you
Yeah.
producer. Which one
Yeah.
do you prefer? Or which one is your like the actual title?
The actual title is definitely engineer because you're producing the show. Actually,
Got it.
you know what I mean. Like
Okay.
You have the vision,
Right.
you're curating the experience.
Got you.
Engineer. You know.
Okay.
Engineer is appropriate.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm here with, my favorite engineer. And yeah, I'm excited for this episode. This episode is actually a little different because it's just me. And usually I have a guest. This is a guest-based show, but I wanted to do this solo episode really to kind of give like a life update, but also have a special announcement as well. So, yeah, we're going to get into it. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll start off with the mental health check-in. I mean, me and Wolf was kind of chopping it up already.
Yeah.
About just kind of where I'm at and how I've been. So yeah, like really, I feel like where I've been is a very like, I've been in a good space, but then I've had moments of like, just overwhelming emotion at different times. And I think that's partially due to the work that I do. You guys know I'm a mental health counselor, therapist, whatever you want to call it. But the demographic that I work with, which is addiction and substance use, that population, the work is really tough. It's been really tough on me since I've started. I've been working at the place that I'm at now for about 3 months. And yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a roller coaster, to say the least. But it's been a learning experience. It's been very, I feel like I've been pulled and pressed in different directions because my clients give me a run for my money on certain days. But at the same time, I feel like I've really learned how to be patient in like volatile circumstances and just chaotic circumstances, right? I think there's a quote that says like, if you can like survive or thrive in chaos, then you're like, I forgot the ending of it, but basically it's a good thing. If you're able to do it, it's a skill. And so, yeah, I think I'm basically like learning how to master this in real time. And it's been a lot. Like me and Wolf was talking about just like, at times, I've experienced at work just feeling like I want to cry, like, and I think that, I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate to that just because if you're in New York and you're working a job that is very like, a lot of pressure, then that can come. But I think also just, being exposed to or just hearing about clients' traumas and, some of like the dark stuff, right, that come from working in the mental health field, it's a lot to take in. And I think sometimes I don't really have enough time or space to be able to like decompress as I should. Like when I get home, yeah, I decompress, I sleep, I do my self-care things, I drink some wine and I, I do things when I'm not at work that help me to decompress, but, actually like being able to unpack, like, how did this work day make me feel for real? I don't get to do it all the time. And I think because of that, at random moments, I just be getting teary. and we want to cry when I was telling Wolf, when we talking about Disney, I'm like getting like sentimental.
Not Disney.
That's just like a funny example, but it's true. And so yeah, that's kind of me. Like I feel like I'm happy, obviously, because I'm employed and I'm making money.
Yes, Lord.
Right? Because that would be a whole other thing if that wasn't intact. But I'm also at times I feel like emotionally tired, right? And so I feel like I gotta just find like a balance of like being able to just regain my footing and like balance and like be cool and really like, I guess sometimes I don't have the time to check in with myself for real. It's like, all right, boom, I work what is this? Is it 6 days a week? 5 days a week. I work full time. And then I'm doing the podcast, and the podcast is my outlet. I feel like I talk about that often, just how the podcast really gives me that energy that I need sometimes. It reminds me of like why I'm doing what I'm doing. And my work does too. Like when clients make progress in treatment and stuff. But the podcast has been my outlet for sure. So I'm happy to be here, of course, and talking to you guys. And yeah. And what about you, Wolf? You want to do a little check-in with me?
Man.
How are you doing?
Let's do a little check-in. I am good. I just came back from a pretty long vacation running through California.
Come on, Cali.
Yeah, I went to the Bay for about like 4 days.
Love it.
And then I was in LA for like 2.5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been more sure ever that I definitely miss New York. And
Right.
I'm not leaving New York anytime soon, at least not as soon as I thought that I was.
Right.
So I'm very happy to be back in New York.
Nice.
For sure.
Good.
But with that being said,
Right.
living in New York, it demands a lot from an individual.
Mm-hmm.
In all levels, you know what I mean? So I'm very happy to be back because it's like, this is really home now.
Yeah.
But now it's like, damn, it's okay. You know what I mean? The pressure is on,
It's on.
So I'm trying to find that delicate balance and understanding, like, this is what I want, and not letting it, like, keep me from being out of balance, because
Right.
I know that I can master the workload, or I could get the workload to a place where it doesn't pull me out of harmony.
Right.
Pull me out of balance, so and a lot of that is mental in general.
For
What I mean?
sure.
Just kind of like you just said, like, shit would really be bad if I didn't have a job. But I have a job though.
Right.
So I think more often than not, I try to focus on that, and that brings me to a place of centeredness. It's like, you know what? I'm very blessed.
Absolutely. It's that gratitude piece.
The gratitude piece.
For sure. And I definitely appreciate you for saying that, because I think that too, like just kind of reframing the thinking and the perspective, like,
Exactly.
Not to say, because I hate that things could be worse, phrase, because
Yeah.
I feel like that can sometimes diminish how you feel.
For sure.
But I think just putting it into perspective is important, because gratitude is key. Just as far as even just when we're talking about mental health and mental wellness, like
yeah, for everything.
Like it's pivotal. It's important. So
Man.
definitely. And similar to you, I was on vacation for like a good week. I was in the UK.
Yeah.
I was in London,
You was doing
and
it real big.
oh my gosh, Wolf. Like I didn't want to come back. And that it's crazy, because I feel like that was part of like coming back from London. I was emotional. Like I fake wanted to cry on my way to the airport, and I was like, this is mad weird. This is real weird. And I was like, I really had a good time. Like, shout out to my sis Linda. Me and my friend Linda went together, and we we just spent it. She was out there actually a week before me, but I got there the week after, and we did Airbnb.
Nice.
And we kind of just explored. We explored London.
Nice.
We like some highlights were the Black British Museum, which is in Brixton, South London, and it was so dope experiencing that museum, because a lot of like the history, like the British history, and it goes like, I'm Jamaican, I'm half Jamaican, and so like learning about like how just instrumental Jamaicans were just in like
Over there.
yes.
That's crazy.
Right. And I didn't really know. Like, I knew a little bit because my family would talk about England, like, from time to time. But most of my family, if not all of them, came from Jamaica to America. But
Right.
a lot of Jamaicans went from Jamaica to England. to Britain.
That's crazy.
Right. And like the culture, the Caribbean culture out there is very dominant. And so like just learning about the history and like, just like just the war, like civil war, like all of that, they experienced like similar things that we had here in America. They experienced there, maybe just on a maybe a little smaller scale.
Yeah.
But it was, and just learning about that history, I'm like, dang, like this stuff they don't really like.
Nah.
They just scratch the surface in school. We don't really. So it was
If the surface.
right.
Man.
Right. So it was dope just learning about that. And I met some new people out there. I'm not gonna lie, like
Okay.
I got some friends now in London, so they're gonna be seeing me again real soon. But
Nice.
yeah, like me and my friend, we actually did like a double date out there, and I'm like, listen, I ain't even gonna get too crazy. I feel like UK men though, the culture out there is different. Like I don't want to do the in comparison to New York men, but I have to because
Go
it was
ahead,
like
go ahead. Let's
it was
do it.
really like it was just. I feel like they were a little sweeter. They were like nicer because I think culturally there's a difference. Like
Wearing Nike Tech over there.
listen, was they? No, they wasn't wearing Nike Tech only because it was actually warm. But I feel like the swag was giving New York swag, but just with a little flair, it was a little different flair.
Okay.
But it was
Like a little girl man on it, or like.
yeah, like it was just something. It was something on it. Like I went like me. I can't get over it because I'm like I really had a good time. Yeah, it was like cool. Like the guy. I mean, with guys in New York, I guess they would pick you up, and I guess they would, But it was just I feel like it was giving like. We're gonna make sure y'all good. We're gonna take care of y'all. Take care of the bill. No problem. Like it was the energy was nice. It was just. It was real nice.
It's
It was
refreshing.
Yeah, it was refreshing and it was like a memorable experience,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if it was just because I was in London, so I just feel like, oh my God, this is different, but it was nice.
Yeah.
And we're still in contact with our friends out there, so I'm like, they'll be seeing us again for sure. And yeah, just pubs are super popular out there. I don't know if you guys know what pubs are.
Yep.
Yeah, pubs are, just little cute like bars and I feel like beer is super heavy out there, which I'm like, I actually like beer. But out there like beer is like super it's a thing. Versus like out here I feel like it's more like hard liquor, like tequila, Casamigos
sure.
and
Henny.
Out there like beer is a thing. So it was cute going to the pubs. And yeah, and like at our Airbnb, we had these house cats that would come visit us, and I'm like a cat lover. Like I had a cat this year, but Chi passed away. Rest in peace, Chi.
Yeah.
And so like now it was just so interesting that these beautiful cats, and I couldn't tell if they were stray or if they were the neighbors.
Yeah.
But they would come over to our Airbnb every day and just chill and like look at us. They were beautiful. There was a gray one with like yellow eyes, and then there was one that was like white, black, and like orange.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I really wish I could take them, but I think they were stray. Literally, I think they were stray, but they just kept coming to visit us, and they would just look at us and like they would sniff us and then just keep going about their business.
Yeah.
But
That's what's up.
yeah, it was just I felt like home. Like I was like I felt like because London is another major city. I feel like, like artists like in the industry and stuff. Like when they go on tour, London is always on the list. And
sure.
so it was like very much so. Like it felt like home a little bit because it was still city, and it was just like, but it was just a little slower.
Yeah.
A little slower, and I was like, I could get used to this, but it is sometimes rainy. Like there were some days where it was cloudy and rainy, but then there were some days where it was warm and sunny too. So I really had an amazing time. I can't lie. And like coming back, I was sad, and so like the first few days when I was back, I was just emotional, and I was like, damn, because traveling is very therapeutic for me. Like I can't lie, like. I was so like I felt like I was on like a natural high when I was out there. And so that's why that's always on my list. Like when people ask like what's your self-care thing, it's traveling.
Traveling,
like,
yeah. Whether
Whether it's far away, whether it's local, it's a weekend getaway, a road trip, whatever, like it just helps me to just feel at ease and like really like decompress. And so I think the thought of coming back to New York and having to deal with the hustle and bustle, maybe that was part of where the emotion was coming from.
For sure, yeah. Understandably so. Because once you get back, it's real life.
Right.
No.
It's right. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we got to get to this money some way, somehow. And of course, like I missed potting. Like I think one of the things that I looked forward to with coming back was recording and talking
Yeah.
about my experience
Yeah.
traveling. So, you know, we take it how we could get it. It was fine. But yeah.
What was your what's one thing that you learned about going over there that surprised you? Like something you didn't know before you got there and you realized it and it was like, oh wow, like it could be food, it could be something quirky about the people, something about the weather, architecture, whatever.
I guess I feel like I learned which maybe I somewhat knew this before because I've heard it, but I got to really see it and experience it, was that Black people are, which is kind of like weird because I feel like we got a lot of looks because where we stayed in London was like, I feel like somewhat of a predominantly white area, right? We stayed in West London. And it's like white people, and then there's also like Middle Eastern people over there. And also the Middle Eastern, that was surprising how much, like there were a lot of like Middle Eastern hijab wearers.
In London.
Yeah, just like they own the hookah spots out there. They own a lot of the
Kind of sound like New York, I ain't gonna
yes, it was very much so giving New York. And then you know what? Like it was just I feel like I learned a lot about just the Muslim like population too, because in the hookah spots out here in New York, you could drink alcohol, and you can all of the hookah spots no alcohol because they're really like culturally it's just it's a
not
dub.
happening.
Yeah, and so it was interesting to me because we looking at the menu like they don't have liquor. they like no.
Nah.
So that was interesting. And then I think also like it somewhat felt like we were the minority out there. Like we felt more like the minority because we didn't really see much Black people.
Yeah.
Until we went to South London, or until we went to there's an area out there which is more of like the party town area, Shoreditch. Yeah, that's kind of like the maybe party scene out here. Shoreditch is like that.
What's the money situation like out there?
It's expensive. I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling like it was more expensive than New York, but it's very close. Like the dollar amount I think is like it's pounds that they use out there, right? So it's like a couple dollars extra than we would pay here. So I felt like I was like, I'm coming back home broke, but I wasn't though. Like it was just really what it was is we went out every day. In New York, we don't go out every day. We go to work. We go right. So we was going out every day, spending money every day.
Listen.
And so when I was like, not me about to be popped after this trip.
Listen, I'm popped. That's one thing I enjoy about coming back. It's like when you on vacation, you're on, like you said, you're on a natural high. You're on an elevated frequency than what you're usually on.
Right.
So you spinning, you be like, I know, I want to taste that. I want to have that.
Yes.
It's the coat on sale, them shoes on sale. Yeah, I'm going to take that with me, you know?
Yeah.
And like that shit has to stop at some point.
Right.
Because the money is not limitless.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I think I lost sight of that. At some point.
You kind of supposed to a degree, but when you get back, it's like, you remember now?
Right.
Do you see it?
Literally, at some point I forgot, and I was like, "Wait, is my money dwindling?"
I'm remembering every day until I get paid again. I'm like,
right.
The credit. Ooh, let's get me started.
Listen. We took one day off. We was like, we gonna just stay in the crib today.
Yep. Man, that's how you know you really on your travel shit when you take a day off on vacation. That's some travel shit. Yo,
we really did. We was like, we gonna stay in the crib today, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
If you get groceries too,
we got groceries.
Yeah, we cook traveling. You're not traveling till you stay where you at for a day in your vacation.
We literally cooked. Shout out to Linda. She cooked mac and cheese for us, and I had made breakfast. We was alternate. We had a real teamwork situation going on.
Tight.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, it was a really good vacation. Like I feel like if anybody goes, I recommend everybody go to London. I feel like you could learn a lot about just like history, which I didn't expect that. I was literally like, I'm going there to just enjoy myself, and I
learn some shit.
Yes, and that's one of the best things I love about traveling is like I always learn whenever I travel. Every place I've traveled, I've learned something new just about like history or just like demographically or just I've learned something, and that'd be the highlight for real.
Yeah.
So Yeah. So
Right.
London was good to me, and y'all should definitely go. I recommend it, and go visit everywhere. Where West is nice. Where we stayed, our Airbnb was super nice. It was like a luxury Airbnb.
Nice.
But next time we go, I'm like, I wouldn't mind staying in South, because South is where all of, our people is at. That's
Okay.
where all of the Africans and Jamaicans, and
Yeah.
that's where all of the drill rappers is at. I don't know if that's where all of the drill rappers are at, but
it's probably where they at though.
that's probably where they at.
Yeah.
But I got excited whenever I saw a black person out there. I got hype, because literally that's what I was saying too. Like, it feels like we're the minority out there, because the white people, they will look at you like, and that's the thing, their mannerisms and like culture. Because I feel in New York, people know, like, you don't look people in their face and stare at them like that,
Yeah.
right? But then in Europe, they don't care. They'll look at you to try to figure out, like, it almost felt like at times they were looking at us like, what we doing over here? Because like I remember we went to a pub and we were the only black people there. And I don't know, it felt a little, I didn't feel uncomfortable, but I just
But
felt,
you were aware.
yes, I was aware that, like, I'm not seeing much people around this area, because this was one of the more, I guess you could say, like, upper echelon, like one of the more like high class areas, and you didn't really see many black people in that area. This might have been Kensington. We were in Kensington, and so it was interesting. But depending on where you go, like, there's so many different sides to London, and so I feel like, going there and experiencing that, it was like, it made me, I guess, appreciate New York culture, because it's like, even though they be trying to make it seem like black people are the minority here, we're really the majority. I feel like
Yeah.
at one point we were the minority, but now
Yeah.
that's why they're trying to get rid of us, because there's so
Yeah.
many. It's like it's I feel like you don't feel that, even though there's racist people everywhere, or there's little microaggressions and stuff everywhere, you don't really feel it like that, like in New York versus over there. I feel like I felt it at times, like like, so, but then you hear different things, because that's the thing, I feel like you'll hear a lot about like the culture in Europe, but when you go there for yourself and experience it, it's different. You got to kind
Yeah.
of go there and experience it for yourself.
Yeah. Hey, as with all things, it's like, don't just listen to it. Go see for yourself. You
That
know what I
part.
mean? Like, try it on. Experiences. There's no other way to get the thing outside of experience. Like, you only get experience by going and putting your hands on it and really putting yourself in the situation. So, like, no amount of YouTube, no amount of study, no amount of FaceTime, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta go.
Yeah,
So for all people, it's like, go live, you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's only one way to live. You can't cheat it.
that's it.
There's only one way to live,
That part.
you know?
You can't cheat it and you can't fake it.
Yeah.
And one last thing before I forget is that the Queen had passed when we were there. While we were there.
Ooh.
So like, it was so interesting to see how unified, like, the UK is. Like, when I tell you, they had flowers, and it was like everybody went to that memorial, like, to just, the Queen's Palace and everything. We got to visit and see it. And I was like, wow, America would never, for any president
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, I was just like, this is
Yeah.
different. So yeah.
That's because they be the ops, though, you know?
But yeah, so coming back, of course, like, I feel like getting back into the work environment and the hustle and bustle of work was something. I feel like it was a lot for me to not really transition. I feel like I came in kind of like somber, or just like not here for jumping back into work. And so when I got back to work, I think I was anxious, right? I didn't know what to expect. I already knew I was going to have a flood of emails. And I just anticipated chaos, because when I left, there was chaos happening. Like, and so basically what happened when I got to work, I think it was that first day when I got back. I went to my supervisor to speak to him, because while I was away traveling, I actually had thought about it and said to myself, I think I want a new job, because I felt like the work environment was just taxing and stressing me out to no end. And so I went to my supervisor and I had a heart to heart with him. Or I don't even know if I should say heart to heart. Like I went in there because we have a good rapport. So I asked him if he could talk. He said, yeah. I asked him if I could close the door just to talk to him without any other ears hearing. And I told him that I'm thinking about leaving. And he was like, why? And I was like, because, like, I just don't know if I can do all of my job duties to the best of my ability under these circumstances, right? So instantly I felt like he kind of started panicking a little bit. Like he kind of was like, just letting me know like all of the accommodations that he's gonna make. Like we're getting help soon, we're hiring this person, so I will receive help. There's a possibility that because there's another position elsewhere, there's a possibility that I may go with that other position. And so, it was an awkward conversation because nobody wants to go to their supervisor and say, I might be leaving, but I was glad that I did it, because you know what they say, closed mouth don't get fed. So once you open up your mouth and say something, there's a possibility for change to happen. And I feel like I did see changes right away, quickly. And so that has me in a place now where I'm torn because there was another opportunity presented to me that could be a better environment for me just mentally and emotionally. It's a private practice versus where I'm working now, which is more of like a rehab facility that's more, just unpredictable environments, right? Where private practice is a little bit calmer and like slower paced. So yeah, I think I'm in a place as far as work is concerned where I just have to just find the balance within myself, because I think there's one aspect of it where it's like you want the environment to be different because then that'll help you to feel better. But sometimes if the environment doesn't change, like I said in the beginning, like being able to thrive in chaos, you have to be able to find that peace and that solace within yourself to still be able to be okay. And I think that's where I'm at right now, where I'm trying to find that balance and be okay because I have a job to do and not losing sight of like why I'm there, right? But at one point it felt like it was so difficult, it was so stressful every day, there was so much different things happening all the time that I was losing sight of like my purpose and why I'm there. So I think now, and even just being on this pod and being able to talk about it, what it does again for me is it puts things into perspective. It helps me to see things more clearly. And yeah, I think I'm just grateful for the position that I'm in either way because I have options. I'm not like stuck. But I also don't want to feel like a quitter and don't want to just quit when the going gets tough, because this field is tough. This field is not, the field of mental health is not for the faint of heart. It's hard, but I think God chose me to be in this position for a reason. And so I am, taking on the challenge and completing the assignment. And yeah, I'll keep y'all posted on, how things go in the coming weeks. But for now, I am remaining where I'm at, and I'm gonna keep podding. And yeah, for this episode, I kind of just wanted to get a little deeper with y'all. I feel like I haven't done a solo episode, so this is so different for me, but it's cool. Like I don't mind it. I feel like it is forcing me to really be a little bit more vulnerable and really kind of strip down versus the episodes when I do have guests. It's more focused on them. But yeah, I wanted to start off with this, some questions here from the Ands, from the Skin Deep, the Self Edition. So this is solely for just, one person. And so let me start off with a question. The first question I have, which is for myself, is what do I find most challenging in my life right now? I think what I find the most challenging in my life right now is really just probably relationships. Like, I think relationships have been the toughest for me to maintain and like build, as far as just healthy ones. Like, I feel like I have friends, of course, but making new friends in this generation, in this day and age, can sometimes be tough because, for one, we're all adults already, right? We're all adults. We all have different ideals, grew up differently, and some people are set in their ways already, right? And so at times, I feel like what I've experienced is coming across people who think differently from me and feel differently from me, which is okay, but that causing friction. And for me, like, where I'm at in my life right now is, if something is more stressful to me or just creating more disruption in my life right now, I can't have it around for too long. And so, because like I don't give so much time to see if things can work relationship wise, whether it's friendship or like romantic relationship with guys, or dating, things end up just phasing out, or the friendship no longer, the relationship no longer. And that sometimes is tough, because it's like, I'm definitely a people's person, and I'm definitely like a vibe. So I don't be understanding why this area of my life is so difficult. And also with dating has just been tough, super tough, because I feel like this generation here and just the moral compass is just dirt. And so for me, this has been the area that's been the toughest for me. And so, yeah, like, I guess that's it. And I'll move on to the next question. How stressful, my work environment has been, and how taxing it can be on me sometimes. I find myself fatigued, out of it, tired, and sometimes just lacking focus, right? Sometimes you can get so bogged down with so many different things that you lose focus. And with this product, with this shot, from a company called Magic Mind, it's really been able to help me, right? Sometimes I take the shot early in the morning with my breakfast on my way to work, and then, or sometimes I'll take it midday, when usually you get that hump or that like tired feeling midday, and it's really been able to give me the boost that I need. And some of the, just to name two of the ingredients that are in this product, matcha and ashwagandha. Matcha, for those of you I'm sure who are familiar with matcha, it's a natural caffeine versus like, as opposed to coffee. It's a better alternative. It's better for your health, and you don't get that crash that you usually would get from coffee. And the ashwagandha, it has stress relieving properties that can really help to calm your nerves and make you feel relaxed when you're in a stressful work environment like myself. And so I've been really like appreciative and grateful to have discovered this product, because it's been very helpful for me. And I definitely would recommend it for anybody out there who needs a boost, wants something healthy, and possibly could be experiencing stressful work environments like myself. And so, yeah, if you guys are interested, I would say go to www.magicmind.co /mental, and you'll get an extra 40% off subscription for the next 10 days with my code mental20. And so, yeah, once again, like, this product has really been helpful for me. And I can't lie, it's an acquired taste. Like, I love anything natural, like with the ingredients. Some people have an appreciation for matcha and like natural tasting things. I'm one of those people. And if you really like things that are just more on the natural side, green shots, green drinks, but boost your energy and boost your focus, Magic Mind is definitely for you. So definitely go to www.magicmind.co/mental, and for 40% off, type in mental 20. And this is a 40% off subscription for the next 10 days with my code mental 20. And the next question is, what mental states do I find myself in often, and what will I lose by letting them go? So sometimes I find myself in mental states where I'm overthinking, or I may feel, maybe just overthinking. And then the overthinking can lead me to a place where I feel a little down because the things that I'm overthinking about end up making me feel stressed. And then I'm just like, like, why do I have to feel this way? And what I would lose by letting that go, letting the overthinking go, I think I would lose control, because I think that is a control mechanism where, like, I'm overthinking so much because I want to try to control the outcome, or I wish maybe something could have went differently. And I think what letting the overthinking go would do is it would allow me to relinquish this control ultimately. And the outcome probably would be I wouldn't experience feeling down. I would be happier. So, yeah. Good questions. And I'm going to do a few more questions. What is the price for waiting before making a decision? So the price for waiting before making a decision would be possibly losing out on an opportunity, and as a result, having regret because you lost out on an opportunity that could have been a good opportunity. So yeah, I feel like that answers the question. Let me do another one. What example am I leaving for others? I think the example that I'm leaving for others is going after your goals, your aspirations, and your dreams, betting on yourself, being confident, and being driven. I think like all of those things describe just the place in my life right now, like just as far as just even traveling, podcasting, and how much growth the podcast has had. Like, I've had, countless like DMs and conversations about, how inspired people are by me. And literally what it is that I'm doing is just being me, and going after the things that I feel like is for the taking. And I feel like it's for the taking because God said and God did. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything that I shouldn't be doing. I feel like this is like I'm in alignment with my calling, and I'm just doing the things that God placed on my heart. And so I think that's also the example that I'm leaving behind is like, listen to the calling. Don't ignore that. Okay, and this question is, how have I grown most in the last year? Well, I guess just to add to the previous question, how I have grown most in the last year is I have just grown more confident and more just trusting of myself. I think that's definitely an area of growth for me because a little backstory for those of you guys who may not know that I come from a church background. I grew up in the church, and which is the church that I went to was a very community based, which a lot of churches are, where it's like unification and community. It's the body, right? And so, from my experience, having people in your life to help you make decisions, right? And to try to guide you and steer you in the right direction has been how I was brought up. And so the growth for me has been tapping into myself, trusting myself, and leaning on what is in me, right? Because I have God, right? People are not God. And I think at times, what we as human beings can do is allow people's ideas, their, suggestions, and especially it depends on who these people are that are in your life. It could be elders, it could be peers, whatever. What they think and their advice can trump our own. And so I've completely removed that, and have banked on me, and I've looked inward for like guidance, because God's spirit is within me, so I feel like looking to God, praying, and like trusting myself has been where the growth has come from, and that's where my confidence has grown, because looking to people doesn't build your own confidence. If anything, it can make you feel less confident in yourself because you so busy relying on the other people. So yeah, I'll say that. This question is a little bit redundant. This question: who can I turn to for support and advice? Why them? My mama. My mom has been my sole supporter for my entire life, and she continues to be that. I trust her through and through. I don't have to question her intentions. And yeah, she supports everything that I do. Even if, at times we agree to disagree or we have different perspectives and viewpoints on things, I know that her advice is always coming from a genuine place, and she genuinely wants the best for me. So that's why her. Love you, mama. Shout out to you. This one: what am I doing daily to become the person I want to be? Taking my vitamins, drinking my water. That's it. How honest am I being right now? I'm being really honest. I feel like I gave y'all a lot today, and I'm low-key like, dang, am I being too honest with y'all? Because this is so different for me. Like, I feel like I've kept things not surface level, but I haven't gotten as deep because I don't know, but now's the time. This one: what am I most grateful for in this period of my life? What I'm most grateful for in this period of my life right now would be just peace. I think like peace that I get from peace and like contentment, whether that be from conversations that I have with other people, whether that be from traveling, whether that be from learning, the peace and the stillness and contentment that comes from certain experiences, I'm grateful for. Yeah. Describe what you want to enter into your life. Be as detailed as possible. I don't know if I'm going to be as detailed as possible with this one, but what I want to enter into my life is a fine man, okay? He could be tall, dark, handsome, with muscles. He could be brown, tall, with muscles. He just got to be a man of color, God-fearing, spiritual, emotionally intelligent, encouraging, ambitious, about his business. And the list can go on, but we're going to stop right there. What do I value most now that wasn't the case before? What's changed? What I value most now that wasn't the case before is how I feel about certain things, over how people feel about certain things. what's changed is me. I feel like I've grown, I've matured. I've experienced some ups and downs of life. I've learned, and I realized that you have to be okay with the decisions that you make before somebody else's. You have to love you before somebody else can. And to not be a people pleaser. So I think my mindset just changed when it comes to people in my life, people in general, and the positions that they play in my life. And so, yeah, I value my own thoughts, my own feelings, emotions, and ideals over those of others. And I think that might be the last question, guys. This will be the last question because I like this one. So, how did I overcome my greatest challenge? Prayer. God. That's I'm gonna just leave it right then and there, because I think if it wasn't for some of my toughest circumstances, if it wasn't for knowing that there was something greater than me, I don't know if I would have made it through those things. So, yeah, I think that's the last question. And so, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. I know it was different from the other ones, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, just stay tuned for more content. Subscribe, share your Mental Matters podcast on Instagram and at _Molu for my personal Instagram. And thank you guys so much for supporting how you guys have thus far. And yeah, your Mental Matters podcast, guys. We are out.